Recording Testing one, two, three. Can everybody hear me? Testing, testing.
Good evening, yes.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Good evening, everybody. I trust that all is well. I just got the word a short time ago that we are indeed going to have a credit and collection session this semester. So let me welcome you guys aboard. I see one or two familiar names, but not all of them are familiar. So let me just start. Looks like we have a couple of persons who haven't joined us yet. All right, let's give the one or two persons a few more moments and then we shall begin one way or the other. Okay, for 2 minutes or so. Can you hear me now, everybody? Hello, testing, testing. Can you hear me?
Still can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. Let us begin. Guess the others will join us as soon as they join us. Let me just quickly take my register that I have so I can see who's with us today. Shatanya Benabi, did I say that correctly? Shatanya?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. I didn't mess that up. Okay. What about Eugenia Edwards Wilson? Okay, not here with us yet. Danielle Hanna? Not yet. Carlisa Lightman? Shalisa?
Yeah.
Excellent, Shalisha. Rowena Ramsey? Rowena Ramsey? And yes. Leslie Roberts. Hello? Who said hello? Who said hello? Rowena Ramsey, did you say hello? Okay. Leslie Roberts. Shalisha? You have a question, Shalisha? I see your hands are raised. Say it again. Your mic is not coming in very clearly yet.
Just letting you know I'm here.
Your mic still sounds strange, like this is the like that. Try it again.
I was just letting you know I'm here. I'm here.
You can't hear me very well?
Can you hear me?
I can. A little better now. Say something else.
Okay.
Yeah, you're a little bit clearer now than before. Okay.
Okay.
Even better. Okay, perfect. Leslie Roberts?
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Atalia Robinson. A. Robinson? Okay, great, great, perfect. Okay, Atalia is here. Fantastic. And Ellen Strawn. Ellen Strawn, are you there? Okay, I see her name, but I don't hear anything yet. Maybe she's trying to get in. All right, so we have 50%, that's a quorum, so we're gonna begin. I suppose the other persons are trying to get things together on the way, rushing through traffic. Maybe it won't join us until next week for whatever reason, but I'll use today's class just as, can everybody still hear me?
Hi.
Okay, as a kind of introductory session, and then I'll get into the
Can
meat.
anyone hear me?
Ellen, are you there?
Yes, I am. I had a problem with my mic. I'm here.
Perfect, perfect. I can hear you now. All
Thank
right, so
you.
we have 4 of the 8 students in the class. That means we can actually get started at least with our introductory stuff today. Hopefully, the remaining persons who do not join us later this evening before we're done will join us next week after getting past all of the whatever. Yeah, it usually happens that way on the first night of class. First things first, let me just share something with you for those of you who are here already. Can you see that screen that I just put there, everybody?
Yes.
Great. Please write down that information in case you need it between now and the next 9 weeks. My name is Samuel Wilkinson. I shall be your lecturer for the next 10 weeks, Credit Collections 2. Please write down my email address in case you have a question, issue, or concern. And you certainly will need to be sending me something before the semester is over, because I will be assigning a small research paper just to wake up all the old gray matter. I'll talk about that later. So you will need my email address, if only for that. Certainly, if you have any other concerns, you can send me an email. I'm always checking email. And of course, my cell number there is there. If you want to call or send me an emergency text for some reason. Okay. Everybody have that information? Let me know when you have the information so I can
Yes.
go on. Okay, who's driving?
Eugenia Wilson. I trying to head home.
Oh, Eugenia. Okay,
Yes, I didn't want to disturb the class. Sorry about that.
no problem. No disturbance, Eugenia.
So I'm in the east and I got a head Carl Harbor, so I may have to cut off until I reach home.
No problem. I'm going to mark you as present since you checked in.
Yes, sir.
And if you want to, you can stay right there driving. We'll escort you home. How's that?
Pardon?
If you want to, you can stay right there where we can see you. We'll escort you home.
I'll try my best as long as the data allow me to.
Yeah, or if you need to break, I'll see you when you get home. Okay, one
Yes,
way or the
sir.
other. But I have you
Okay.
listed as being here. Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right. So that's my contact information. I'm hoping everybody has written that down already. So I'll just stop sharing that. And yeah, we'll escort Eugenia home while she goes the heck all the way out behind God's back. All right. What's next on my agenda? Yeah, I've been with BIFS forever, teaching all kinds of courses. So hopefully that means you're in good hands this semester. Um, for those of you who did Credit Collections 1, this of course is going to be an extension of that. Some of the information will be similar or familiar to you, but there'll be some other stuff like financial statements and some what we call more advanced credit discussions and techniques will come up in part 2. So if you see some stuff that's driving you a little bit crazy, that's okay. It's called progress, and that's why we have a Credit Collections 2. So you can get some more in-depth information on how the whole process works, especially for those of you who are actually currently in lending, maybe at Commonwealth Bank or Bahamas Mortgage Corporation, where there's all kinds of lending going on. And even if you're not actively involved in lending at the moment, um, if you end up there eventually, I'm sure that this information will be very useful to you. So do not throw away your notes. You never know when you might need them. All right. So the next thing that I have on my agenda is the introduction of students. Eugenia, can you talk and drive?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Why don't we start with you so we can get that out of the way so you can focus on getting home in one piece. Eugenia, why don't you introduce yourself to us?
My name is Eugenia Wilton. I've been working at Commonwealth Bank for 3 years. Prior to that, I was at insurance management for 14 and at Scotiabank for 9 years. I have 4 kids with the oldest one in his 20s. I have a granddaughter.
What?
I am, yes, sir.
You're a grandmother? What the hell
Yes,
is that?
she's 2,
Yes, my foot.
and my youngest one is 1. And I love the bank. I'm a special credit officer that deals with delinquency. So joining this class is going to help me a lot in my field.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll certainly try to reserve at least 1 or 2 sessions to talk about collection techniques to see if I can add to what you might already know, those of you who are in collections like Eugenia, and maybe enhance, answer some questions that you might have in terms of your actual day-to-day work. That's the other thing. Please feel free, whether it's the credit or collection side of the discussion, to raise any questions that you might have at any time. You can interrupt me at any time. There's no special time to raise questions pertaining to any lecture, notes, any lecture material, and certainly anything pertaining to your day-to-day work. You don't have to call any names, indict anybody, but if you have a situation at work, for example, says you want to get some clarification on the information, please feel free. You might end up enlightening more people than you can imagine. So Eugenia, yeah, you are definitely um, not as young as you look. I don't know how you pull that off. I'm not even going to try and figure that out. All I can,
42 this year. I still young.
so oh, you're a young mom, young grandmother.
Yep.
Okay, okay, yeah. Being able to enjoy your children and grandchildren at the same time and your life.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's something about jumping off early, and definitely you're an example of one of the benefits of doing it early. Okay, I'm an example of one of the benefits of doing it dead late. All right, because my last son just graduated from university in May, and I don't know how the hell that happened, but anyway, so be it. You did a great job, Eugenia, and you still have a life ahead of you to enjoy. That's wonderful. All right, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Okay, Shantanya. And Shantanya, Benabi.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Tanya. Introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Shatonya Bannery Roll.
Okay.
I did credit and collection 1, and I'm here to do credit and collection 2 and expand my knowledge from the prior class. And I'm excited to see what I'm going to gather from this class because the first class was very informative.
Thank you very much. And I do believe there'll be some extra tokens that you'll be able to carry away. I'm almost certain that there'll be some discussion on how to analyze financial statements a little bit, which is always a good idea, whether it's credit and collections or even just day-to-day life issues. So definitely, I believe there'll be a few more tokens that you'll take away from part 2. Okay, welcome aboard then. Shalisha Lightman.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Shalisha.
I work for Bahamas Mortgage in the collection field. I've been
Yes.
working there for 6 years. I'm taking this course to enhance and to educate myself more in that field to get a better understanding of all the procedures and policies that we carry out in the collection.
Excellent, excellent.
Of course,
I have no doubt that you'll pick up a few nuggets as well, and maybe even be able to give some advice to the persons on your lending side by the time you're done. Because when I was a young loan officer, before I worked in collections for a while, back in those days, lending officers and collecting officers didn't always get along for some reason. They looked like They didn't want to talk to each other sometimes, even for some strange reason, even though it's absolutely necessary for both groups to work together in terms of making the credit and collections department complete. Hopefully, you guys don't have that situation at Mortgage Corporation. Hopefully, collectors and lenders get along better than some other organizations. Back in the day, there was this thing by certain lenders who thought that collectors were inferior to them within the lending department for some reason, that they were just mere collectors, and the lenders were the sophisticates of the credit department. The truth about it is everybody needs everybody if the credit department and collections department and the bank's business is going to be done effectively. Because certainly when loans go bad, then all of a sudden everybody remembers the collections officers. When it's time to clean up bad accounts for whatever reason, and so all of a sudden we remember collecting officers. And so that is a huge, huge um, responsibility and importance to the bank. If it wasn't, there would be no such thing as a delinquency department. Okay, so welcome aboard, Eugenia and Shalisha on the delinquency side. Okay, Atalia Robinson, introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
So I work at Scotia. I've been there for like 11 years, and I'm interested in credit and collections. So I joined this class to expand my knowledge.
Excellent. What do you do at Scotia at the moment?
Customer service.
Okay, great. So when you finished, did you do part one?
Oh, credit and collections?
Yes.
No.
That's okay. When you can always go back when we're offering it again and do part one. But certainly part two is going to enlighten you for sure. And when your next performance appraisal report comes up, you can say, I've done one and two, and I'd like to join the loan
Yeah.
department. Yeah.
Yes.
Or the collections department. You'll take any one of them for starters.
Yes.
All right. Which area do you think you'd like to work eventually, lending or delinquency?
Probably delinquency, especially like how the pandemic and thing going on now.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
no, child. Nope, nope, nope.
Who said no?
The driver.
Uh,
That's a hard
Eugenia?
place. Yeah, that's a rough area. I mean, but each his own. Everyone is different, but that's rough. Running behind people all the time for money, and then your manager rowing you because you ain't getting the money from people. It's like you going through the pandemic, you getting rowed from your manager, the customers cussing you out. You can't get the money because they say they have to eat. They losing the jobs, but we still getting rowed.
Yeah. That's it. In summary, Atalia, if you feel you can handle all that stuff and you still find it exciting, then collections and delinquency is the place to be. Don't get me wrong. It is an exciting job. It can be stressful, especially in the middle of a pandemic. But if you like controversy, you like running people down, so, the money you promised last month that you'd pay something, it's now a new month. You haven't paid anything. We may have to sue you. And they said, go right ahead, sue me. I don't have any job anyway. And trying to find creative ways to get people to pay. If you don't mind that stuff, Atalia, then yeah, delinquency is the way to go. For those of us who like writing up loan applications and trying to see if customers qualify for a loan, and maybe if it's a small business, you have to look at a financial statement and analyze it to see whether they qualify for a loan, that kind of stuff. If you like that stuff, then of course lending is the side. Um, for some people, they've ended up working in both sections, which of course is the ideal. But again, Atalia, once you get your information, you can decide which side of the fence you'd like to go. I'm not sure Eugenia was any help today in encouraging you to work in collections, but I'm sure you'll do some legwork to see what side is really good for you at the end of the day. But it's really bold of you to say collections, because a lot of people run away from collections because of what Eugenia said. But again, some of us are made for certain things. And maybe Atelier, at the end of the day, you might find, I love this stuff, even though it's a pain in the butt. All right. So welcome aboard, and you
Thank
can
you.
decide all that stuff once you're done. All right. Last but not least today, Ellen, Sean.
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Hi, Ellen.
My name is Ellen Strawn. I'm presently employed with the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation. I've been there for the past 2 years after completing 35 years of service in the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Since working at the corporation, we had Dorian, and for the past almost 2 years, I was working on the Dorian project, and now just recently getting into the credit and the collections department, actually.
Indeed.
Um,
Actually, you keep going, Ellen.
so credit and collection one, I must say, was a great, I mean, a whole lot of knowledge, and I must say that it is helping me along the way. So
You've seen
far,
results already.
yes, I'm seeing
Yes.
results already, so I'm looking
Yes.
forward to collections too, to enhance my knowledge further.
Indeed, indeed. I'm sure you too will be able to take away some additional nuggets. And that's the whole idea about knowledge and education and being exposed to it in these
Right.
kinds of settings, because you get to hear new and interesting information, see different techniques that you can apply if you're really creative in whatever job you do, whether it's credit or collections, and certainly also listen to your peers who are out there and maybe learn a few things from them as well. For example, you mentioned something about the Dorian Project. What does that mean in English, Ellen? The Dorian Project.
Okay, a week before Dorian, I started working at Bahamas Mortgage,
Yes.
and we had a lot of damages in Grand Bahama. And
Yeah.
so my job really consisted of a lot of field work, going out to assess damages, getting contracts done to have the repairs and managing the funds
Yeah,
for the
that's a big
customers.
time job, Ellen Strawn.
Right, and I got baptized by fire.
They throw you right in. Which
Right.
which island did you go to first?
I'm in Freeport, sorry. I'm in
Oh my
Freeport.
God, Freeport.
I always say Abaco because I worked there for 18 years and I not too long came to Freeport. So you might hear me say Abaco sometime, but it's not, it's Freeport.
So the two islands that were hardest hit are the two islands that you actually lived on.
Right.
Amazing,
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
What made you go from Abaco, or like they say in Abaco, Habaco,
Mhm.
to Grand Bahama?
Well, personal reasons and for uh, my children, for their growth
Indeed,
and development.
indeed, indeed. I understand completely.
Right.
I understand completely. Grand Bahama does offer some things that, as much as Abaco's developed, that are not necessarily in Abaco.
Right.
So yeah, point well taken. It's interesting that you ended up in the two areas that were hit hardest by Dorian.
Yes.
Uh, how ironic is that? But I'm sure it must have been a great experience for you nevertheless.
It was. I must
Yeah.
say, yes, it was. And I still have close ties in Abaco because my daughter lived there and my two granddaughters.
Wow.
So they were affected. And so, yes, it was an experience.
Indeed, indeed. And I understand that the construction and the development and the cleanup and all that is still ongoing all this time later.
Yes.
I saw
In
somebody
both
from
Ireland.
Abaco, yeah, I had something in the paper not too long ago. Says, hey, don't forget, we're still here waiting for stuff to happen. It's not finished. Uh, I believe they may have been talking to the new administration because it was very recent. And I think the cry is now that things have changed, don't forget, we're still out here waiting to have things done. Because,
Yes.
yeah, there's still a lot to be done.
Yes, there is.
Absolutely. So yeah, Alan, Sean, I don't envy you at all. And having to deal with those situations and then having to be thrown into the fire
Right.
in the middle of Dorian and all that stuff. But that's okay. Fire is good.
Yes.
Fire prepares us to deal with all kinds of crazy stuff.
Right.
All right. So yeah, welcome aboard, and hopefully at the end of the 10 weeks, you'll be able to carry away with you another sack of information that can make your job and your life a little bit easier, no doubt. All
Yes.
right, fantastic. Any questions so far? Wonderful. Now, today is probably going to be the only day that you get to leave this class early. So I encourage you to take, whenever we break, to take full advantage of it, because I suspect for the next remaining weeks, we will be going right down to the wire with this and that and the other thing. The problem with 10 weeks, it only seems long. 10 weeks passes quickly. And even though our classes are 3 hour classes, fairly long, from 6 to 9 on Wednesdays, time passes quickly when you're dealing with a whole lot of blah, blah, blah. All right. So, fortunately for you, tonight will probably be the only night you get a break in terms of getting off this early. I'm not done yet, but when I am done with the course outline, then I will end the session for today. That will give me time now to go ahead and prepare your course outline, at least send it to you so that you can actually have it in your possession after I've tweaked it a little bit. And then you will start getting reading material and all that stuff very shortly, a little bit later this week, so that hopefully by weekend you can start reading and be ready for our next session next week. All right, let me just take a few moments and go quickly through the course outline so you can have an idea of what you will be looking at. We will be covering 8 key sessions over the next 10 weeks. The remaining 2 weeks will be examination days. Let me just say while I remember, your examinations will be face to face. So those of you who are in Nassau will go to BIFS for your examinations. I'll give you the tentative dates um, very shortly when we expect to have the examinations. There'll be 2 of them. There'll be a midterm exam and a final exam, pretty much like the last time. Please make a note, and I'll send you the course outline with this information anyway. Your midterm exam will be 40% of your grade. Your final exam will be another 40% of your overall grade. I will give you a little research paper to do, not to drive you up a wall and drive you crazy, pull your hair out, just to keep you busy and to diversify things a little bit, so you can go out there and do a little research work and put together the best paper that you possibly can. I'll send the instructions with you, but again, it will not be designed to drive you mad, just to diversify things a little bit for you. Okay. And then for your attendance and participation in class, I've allocated 10% because it's important to actually be in the classroom to hear the information firsthand. Of course, I know BIFS has a recording, but the recording is only for those persons who have an emergency, perhaps, and cannot get it to class. You may want to do that. There's nothing, in my opinion, like being present for the present and actually listening to everything firsthand and participating. So I encourage you to attend as many classes as you can, if not all of them, so you can be the beneficiary of being in class live and also getting the maximum benefit for being present and being involved. Okay. All right. In terms of the course description, uh, the classes will look at topics like further understanding of credit, the credit department and how it functions, how to maintain credit files if you're responsible, and of course, by extension, delinquency files as well, because collections is not just calling people and licking them in the head with a conch shell, as we say in the Bahamas, to get the money. But there are some formalities that you have to follow as well. You need to keep records. You need to be able to find information on the customer. You need to be able to refer to your last conversation and be able to say to the customer, the last time you said this, now you're saying that. because customers will tell you in delinquency, I didn't say that. You're a liar. Please don't say I said stuff and so on. So you want to keep records of conversations and other documents that you might need as a point of reference with regards to customers. Okay? We're looking at different information sources to gather information for borrowing, for giving loans, and gathering information to deal with delinquent customers. We'll talk a little bit about the key financial statements in case you have a small business borrower and they don't have a regular job, they have a business account, and by extension, they may even have financial statements, God forbid, and if they do, and they produce them to you as a lender, you won't be lost in terms of some of the information that's in there. So we'll talk a little bit about what financial statements are and how lenders can use them to help you make better credit decisions. And even if you're a collector and the person says, I'm self-employed, and you say, fine, can you bring me a financial statement so I can have a look at them? Then you can make a few assessments, even as a collector, about the customer's ability to pay and whether they're generating enough sales and revenue to make your loan payments, for you to make payment arrangements if you're a delinquency officer, and so on. Okay? So this stuff is always useful one way or the other, whether you're on the credit side or the collection side. So there'll be a little bit of analyzing of financial statements just to help you bump along. And there'll be some discussions about how to make credit decisions. And by extension, there'll be discussions about collection techniques, extended, some more and new techniques, hopefully, and how to get customers to pay. And even if you have to end up in court, either directly to sue the customer or through your attorney, how you can have discussions and understand discussions with your lawyer and with the court issues in terms of trying to get customers to pay. All right, so we have quite an interesting 10 weeks ahead of us. And so I encourage you to make preparations to be enlightened and to take advantage of all the information that is going to be available to you. Okay, Eugenia, you got it in one piece. Perfect. All right. So, and again, our classes are on Wednesday, 6 to 9, and it'll run for 10 weeks. 2 of those weeks will be examination sessions. The other 8 will be lectures, discussions, etc. on all this exciting stuff. Any questions, anyone, about anything? Oh, your examination, what format will it take, in case you're wondering? Your examination will be, for those of you who did part 1, will be very similar to part 1 in terms of structure. And in that, you will be expected to define important terms in credit and collections, and then the rest of the examination will be primarily short answer questions. And of course, since we're having a discussion on the analysis of financial statements, I certainly wouldn't resist the temptation to have you prepare a simple set of financial statements, nothing heavy like accountants, none of that stuff. It's going to be very basic, just to get your hands wet and your feet wet, and to have you do 1 or 2 simple analysis steps so that you can get the feel. Okay, so the only thing that will be different from part 1, for those of you who did part 1, will be perhaps the preparation of simple financial statements and 1 or 2 bits of analytical work that we, of course, will discuss in class. I won't have you out there in left field, and there will not be any surprises. I won't throw anything in the examination that we haven't discussed, so that you don't have to be concerned about that at all. All right. Any other questions, anyone?
So, yes, Mr. Wilkinson, face-to-face for Grand Bahama also is the same place?
Yeah, I imagine it would be. The Institute will make the necessary arrangements, but it's very likely It will be the same place, and you will have an invigilator there as well. So you should be fine. If there are any changes to location, you definitely will be told in advance, but I suspect it will be the same as before.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Anybody?
Any-
Any concerns?
Any dates is yet for the exams? Or we are
I haven't set a hard and fast yet, but tentatively, the examinations are likely going to be in week 5 for your midterm and week 10 for your final exam. Okay, good question. I will confirm those dates for you formally, but whatever day is week 5, Wednesday is week 5, that will be tentatively your midterm date, and then week 10 and perhaps maybe week 11, tentatively, depending on how it goes, will be your final exam date. But I will certainly confirm those for you between now and the weekend.
Okay.
Okay, definitely. Okay, it's another good question. Any other questions, concerns about anything whatsoever at this point?
Okay, what about the books?
Uh, the Institute is thinking about compiling a manual for you. So you will add, one of two things will happen. I'm going to be reviewing the information that I have to see whether compiling a manual would be practical, or if that is not going to be practical for whatever reason, I will be sending you lecture notes in advance of lectures so that you can compile your own manual at the
Okay.
end of the day, okay? So it'll be one or the other. It'll be something wrapped up by them if it's practicable enough, or it'll be lecture notes sent by me in advance of your lectures, such that at the end of the session, you will have your own set of notes to compile, and you can then go ahead and bind it for future reference if you need that, okay?
Okay.
I'll confirm which one that would be as well by weekend.
And our research paper information.
Yeah, the research paper information will come within this first week to
Okay.
give you the maximum amount of time to prepare it. I'll send it with instructions on what to do, how many pages, what the content is going to be, the topic and all that stuff in advance before the next class, so that if you have any questions, you can certainly raise them in the next class. The research paper, I'll give you the full semester to do it. You have the full 9 weeks or whatever. The paper will not be due until the final or the 10th week.
Okay.
Okay. If you finish it before the 10th week, feel free to submit it. You don't have to hold it. I wouldn't suggest you wait until the last minute either, which is like the week before the 10th week. That's not a good idea. All right. I'll get it to you early, hopefully before next class, so that we can discuss it for a few moments and you have enough time to take your time to do the research paper, do a little bit every week so that you don't have to stress yourself to the bone and find yourself trying to finish up a whole research paper the week before. Try not to do that. Okay? Good questions. Any other great questions? They're all very important ones that were raised. All right, I'm only a text away or an email away. If you have a question, I'm supposed to get stuff to you and I don't get it to you by the weekend, somebody can send me an email and say, hello, it's the weekend. Anything kicking, any course outline, any material, what's happening? Feel free to do that. I don't have a problem with that. Okay. All right, if there are no other pressing questions at the moment, then you guys, please be safe out there. The pandemic, we have a new government, but the pandemic is still here. Hopefully they can do some things that will improve the situation along the way. We shall see. In the meantime, take your own personal precautions. Take care of yourselves out there. I was teaching another session on corporate governance not too long ago. I had some police officers in that class, and 2 or 3 weeks ago, he was not in the class, and I was told that he had contracted COVID, and he is only 30 something years old. So this thing has no age limit anymore. It doesn't discriminate, nor does it care who we are, who we're related to. So please be careful out there and take all of the necessary precautions. And I'll see you guys next week, Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Again, if you have any questions or anything that you think about before then, send me an email, let me know. And if I'm not getting your course outline and reading material to you fast enough, please don't be bashful. Drop a note and say blah, blah, blah. Okay? Did everybody get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
sir.
fantastic. So I'll see you guys next week, Wednesday. Take care and be safe.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Did I see Danielle earlier? Did anybody see Danielle's name come up? Or was that only me?
No.
Okay,
No, I
no
didn't. see it.
Danielle. Okay. All right. So you guys take care. Eugenia, I'm happy you got in one piece.
Yes, sir.
I'll see everybody on Wednesday.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Okay,
Good
take
evening,
care.
everyone.
Be safe out there.
Yes, sir.